Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Wright Flyer. This is Randy Wright, your captain speaking, and as always, I'm joined by my first officer, Jeremy Grapington. This will be the final boarding call, so we cordially invite you to please claim your seats, fasten your seatbelts, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show while Jeremy and I go ahead and delve into the pre-flight checklist, because there's really a lot of news and information to get to before we may fully indulge you with your in-flight entertainment. Well, folks, I'm sure you all remember in the last Gutless Opposition Party, or GOP, presidential candidate debate, which was the sixth nationally televised debate for the Republicans, which is more than twice what the Democratic National Socialist Committee has done. Trump tried to attack Cruz for saying that his New York values were wrong. Well, let me actually play a clip of what Cruz was actually talking about, because we have to go back to 1999, but Donald J. Trump actually said something with respect to his New York values, and I'm going to let you hear this little minute or so clip, and so I'm going to go ahead and get that clip up. Here it comes now.
You think gays should be allowed to be married?
It's something I haven't given lots of thought to. I live in New York City. There's a tremendous movement on to have and allow gay marriage. It's just something that is too premature for me to comment on.
How about gays serving in the military?
It would not disturb me. I mean, hey, I lived in New York City and Manhattan all my life, okay? So, you know, my views are a little bit different than if I lived in Iowa, perhaps. But it's not something that would disturb me.
Partial birth abortion, the eliminating of abortion in the third trimester. Big issue in Washington. Would President Trump ban partial birth abortion?
Well, look, I'm very pro-choice. And again, it may be a little bit of a New York background because there is some different attitude in different parts of the country. And, you know, I was raised in New York and grew up and work and everything else in New York City.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I am pro-choice in every respect and as far as it goes, but I just hate it.
Don't you love that? Don't you love that? It's Cruz that's wrong for mentioning New York values, but I thought I heard Trump say at least 4 times in that clip that he was sitting there saying, well, you know, I was raised in New York. I built a tower, and I'm great, I'm wonderful, and you shouldn't question me because I'm Donald J. Job Trump.
Yeah. What, you know, to pull a line out of Hillary's, you know, slag bag, what difference does it make whether or not a person, an American citizen, who holds values is from Manhattan or Iowa? Trump seems to think there's a difference. I was raised in New York. Being from Manhattan, I'm sure I have different values from people from Iowa. Really? Gee, I thought American citizens that formed their values, their ethics and morals and principles based on the fundamental and unalienable rights and natural law rooted by the Constitution. Gee, I thought that they would understand this, but he's absolutely pro-choice. Completely pro-choice. So, I wonder.
Well, here's the question I have for you, Jeremy. And this is probably the question that most people in middle America or in Michigan or Texas or, you know, states that kind of matter, might ask. It's, if you were, well, I was raised in Manhattan. Well, then how can you represent the values of a Texan, or represent the the values of a Michigander, or represent the values of an Oklahoman, or represent the values of somebody from Arkansas? I just don't think you can.
No, well,
and I think that's what Cruz was getting at.
And Cruz is spot on with that. Now, Cruz wasn't trying to make a distinction As far as, well, it matters from where you're at. No, Cruz was pointing out that it's very simple. It's very simple. If you are an American citizen, you adhere to the Constitution, you have an understanding of what natural law system of governance is. You have those formulated values of being vehemently opposed to murder by way of removing unborn children from the womb.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it not but a form of the color of blood? The corruption of blood?
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
And so, all these people that want to come out and say that Donald J. Trump and his hairpiece, which is the love child between, and I know I'm making a Futurama reference here, but our first ticketing agent, Mr. Kev Ward, would enjoy this, is the love child between the brain slugs and the hypnotoad. That's his hairpiece. If he's out claiming that he's going to represent America and he's all for guns now, let's go back to what he said on Larry King back in 1999. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a recording of this, and I'm just going to paraphrase here. But he said that ultimately, I don't think people should have guns, but as long as they do, well, then I guess we can't ban it. Ultimately, he thinks people shouldn't have guns. You know what that tells me? That he's like a Rudy Giuliani that wants to just ban guns. He's like every other Northeastern politician
Michael
that just
Bloomberg.
wants to... Yeah, like Michael Bloomberg. Bloomberg.
Mitt Romney.
He was great. Mittens Romneykins.
Christie.
Hamburger. These guys don't want us to have the right to defend ourselves. Why? Because they're probably no different than the Gestapo wanting to goose step down the street to strip our rights from us, and that is absolutely the last thing we need in this country.
Well, when he says, ultimately, I don't think people should have guns, what he's really saying there is eventually, if I have my way, people will not have guns.
Exactly. And so, I'm sure the cynical Trump supporter who's what's the politically correct way to put this? Even though we're not politically correct, we're going to be nice. Has to be attached to Trump via his umbilical cord, much like the followers of Obama that had to be attached by the umbilical cord would say, hell, I'll quote Obama himself. I'm not actually against the Second Amendment, but we need common sense gun regulations. I mean, it's unprecedented here in the United States.
Yeah, that
Give
he
me
wants
a break.
He wants to fundamentally change that, by the way. Oh, but before, we just, cling to our religion and our guns. Yeah. Well, guess what? Those that ultimately think we shouldn't have guns, that have devious, dictatorial, despotic, and wannabe potentate tendencies, and bad comb-overs.
He's got that for sure.
You know what? I don't care what you think. Why? Because you don't matter.
Jeremy, I think we probably need to educate the world, because Trump followers aren't going to do this. I've actually got a clip here of Trump's evolving views over the years. What do you think people ought to hear this?
I say let's do it.
All right, I'm going to switch over, and then we're going to hear exactly what Trump has said over the years. Folks, this is staggering.
Porter?
I don't want to get into this because I'll get myself into trouble, but I
That's
just
why
like
I asked
her.
you to see me
I
in
know.
trouble.
I just like her. I like her, and I like her husband. Some people would say he's incompetent. I would not say that. Yes, I would. I think Tim Geithner has done a good job. I think that the whole group has really done a good job. When you look at what's happened, I mean, at least we have an economy. You wouldn't have had an economy had they not come up with some very drastic steps 2 years ago. I'm almost more disappointed with the Republicans. They have to toughen up on Obamacare, which is a total lie and which is a total and complete disaster.
Healthcare.
Liberal on healthcare. We have to take care of people that are sick.
Universal health coverage.
I
for the
like
nation.
universal. We have to take care. There's nothing else. What's the country all about if we're not going to take care of our sick? Let me tell you, everybody wants to pay as little as possible, including Warren Buffett, by the way, despite what he says. And somebody said, what's your tax rate? I don't know. I pay as little as possible. I would tax people of wealth, of great wealth, people over 10 million by 14.25%. This tax would raise approximately 5.7 trillion, which happens to be our national debt. Well, I'm very pro-life and feel strongly about it. I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion. I hate it. I hate everything it stands for. I cringe when I listen to people debating the subject. But I just believe in choice.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
So what do you think of that? I think that Trump is a bit of a liar.
Well, let's ask the question. Mr. Trump, was your hairpiece lying then, or is your hairpiece lying now?
Yeah, I think it's lying at both points.
Well, which liar is it? Which one? I maybe it's two liars. I know his hairpiece asexually reproduced itself. That's what happened.
I'm sure.
You know, and I like the little, Pavlovian signal going off there.
Yeah. Isn't it great, that little ding ding?
Yeah. It's just, and people, well, he doesn't feel that way now. That's not what he thinks now. Again, was he lying then, or is he lying now?
But the other question we need to ask, Jeremy, because a lot of people are throwing fits about this, saying that Cruz isn't qualified to be, the candidate for president of the United States because he's not a natural-born citizen. Folks, that has been settled. It has been settled. But we do have an 85-year-old lawyer who supports Bernie Sanders for president that has brought this up. And I love how he says it's nothing personal against Cruz. Bovine excrement.
Really?
Absolute bovine excrement.
How if there's anything that is more personal in any way, shape of the term than attacking somebody's citizenship, you are going directly after their life being, their birthright. How can you do that? I don't get it. Why would you do that? Oh, it's nothing personal. I have to take another hit of oxygen. Listen, I don't care what his background is. It doesn't matter, because the fact of the matter is, like you said, Randy, this has been settled. This was settled right from the beginning when Hillary Clinton's, advocate, close special friend, Philip Berg, whatever his name is, Philip Berg, filed the first lawsuit to get the ball rolling down excrement hill with the whole birth certificate issue with Obama. Guess what, folks? I'm going to tell you right now. Adolf Obama was born in the United States. No, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was born. He was American. His mother was an American citizen.
Yeah.
And because she resided in the United States for a period of 1 year at any point before his birth, That makes him a natural-born citizen. You know why all this is brought up? Smoke and mirrors. This is nothing more than a diversionary tactic to cover the fact that he went to school on as a foreign student aid scholarship, the Fulbright scholarship, as an American citizen.
Go figure.
Felony.
Yeah, but hey, it's okay. It's Obama. Everything that Obama does is okay. Just ask the left. But, it goes to show. Trump, what was it, back in 2010 or 2011, came out and said that, oh, I'm Donald Trump, and, I built a tower, and I'm going to make Obama prove he's a citizen, and that I'm going to get him to unsell his records. Really? I'm still waiting for that, Mr. Trump. What happened?
Yeah, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you?
It's not.
Did your hairpiece, those little fingers tie itself into a knot?
Folks, what it just comes to show is that Donald J. Trump has not been truthful about what his beliefs are. He's trying to convince us that he is what he is not. And the American people really ought to see through this for what it is. He does not care about America. That's why he would pull the low blow that he did when when Cruz mentioned his New York values that are absolutely and diametrically opposed to that of true conservatives. Mm-hmm. Because when you stop and think about it, what Cruz was mentioning was the first video I played. Absolutely. You could always look at, and again, going back to people's actions. Actions speak louder than words. They absolutely do.
Just like I mentioned in the show the other night, and I questioned, Donald J. Trump, when was the last time that him or his hairpiece slithered into a courtroom and actually argued in defense of the Constitution? When was the last time?
That was the 12th of never.
Right, in the year non-existent. So, the only time I've heard Trump talk about the Constitution or ever even bring it up was if somebody else asked him his stance on the Second Amendment, which obviously he has no clear standing on it. Ultimately, we shouldn't have guns, according to him. Mm-hmm. Or with this whole illegal alien issue, where he dropped the 14th Amendment, which, by the way, folks, has nothing to do with the illegal alien or the immigration status or immigration laws of the United States. The 14th Amendment is strictly reserved to the states being required to acknowledge citizens as being citizens. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. But then they want to bring in the 14th Amendment with Trump supporters again on this birth certificate issue or this natural-born citizen issue. There's individuals out there, believe it or not, Randy, there are individuals that actually say, well, natural-born citizen is not the same as citizen at birth. Wait a second.
What does natural-born mean?
Citizen at birth. If you're born, that means you're naturally born. You're a citizen. You are a natural born. It's one and the same. What they do not understand regarding the law that was made in 1952, Title 8 U.S. Code, Section 1401, is that so long as one of your parents was living in the United States for a period of 1 year prior to your birth, doesn't matter what year it was, that person is a natural-born citizen. And they're trying to make this correlation with the illegal aliens, saying, oh, well, that means that, all the anchor babies are natural-born citizens of the United States. Wrong. Why? Because their parents were never citizens to begin with. You cannot be natural born unless one or both of your parents are citizens. You don't even have to have both your parents, just one. Your mother can be natural born or can be a naturalized citizen, and so long as she was a resident of the United States or a citizen for 1 year, your father could be from Mars.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't make a difference. You would still be natural born. These anchor babies, these infiltrating plants of deception and deceit and invaders, which is exactly what they are. I'm not even calling, it's wrong to call them anchor babies. It would be wrong to call them anchor babies if we actually threw them into the Rio Grande and they sank. Well, maybe not. But the fact is, their parents were never citizens, natural born or naturalized. Therefore, they cannot have natural born citizenship.
Yeah.
Or even naturalized citizenship at that matter.
Yeah. But let's go to Trump's stance on the Second Amendment. I've actually got the transcript from this 1999 interview between Trump and Larry King. King said, "We're going to ask Donald Trump in a minute about guns and tobacco after this." Then it was a commercial break. Then King says, "Gun control. Trump, if you could take the guns away from the bad guys, and there are plenty of them out there, I'm all for it, but you can't. Now, if you had a law that says no guns, the people that are law-abiding are going to go by that law, but the bad guys aren't. So you're going to have all guns, and the good guys aren't. It's very simple. Just ban all guns." What do you think? I think it's a mess. That's literally what I think. I think Trump is full of himself. He said,
Sure.
I'll tell you what, you take a look. I mean, what we have now with guns is not that I'm a big fan at all. You agree with the NRA? I don't agree. But I do agree that you should have the power to have a weapon because other people do and other people are not necessarily. Would you favor the nicest people in the world, long checks, and how people get the guns? You don't favor easy access? Yes, no. I favor you have to go through a process, but the fact is that the bad ones already have one, and you are not going to go through any process. Look, there's nothing I like better than nobody has them, period. But that's not going to happen. Larry, so as long as that's not going to happen, I say you have to be allowed to have a gun, but not an assault weapon.
Well, let's see. That would pretty much eliminate about 90% of everything sitting on my desk because anything I could put my hands on, I could use to assault people with.
Including your hands, your bare hands, by the way.
Yes, which actually, literally, I could. So let's see. Ultimately, let's take away everybody's guns, and let's cut off everybody's hands, and let's cut off feet of certain individuals, like martial artists or anybody that's, I don't know, been in the military with special forces or even just the military at all. Where does it stop? Oh, I know. Let's ban cars and vehicles. Let's ban swimming pools. Let's ban ratted and matted, mangy-looking toupees and hair pieces as well, because you know what? Those can assault people. Maybe not physically, but it can sure do damage to their eyesight.
My eyes every day. Now, King then went on to say, and keep in mind, folks, this is 1999. The government suing tobacco, states suing tobacco have already done deals. The gun dealers are doing deals to gun manufacturers are doing deals with states. Would you come down tough on tobacco? Trump. Well, I'd come down. But I'd also come down tough on alcohol. I don't know why everyone's suing tobacco, which is terrible. and I love that they're suing, and I love that they're paying a big price, but why aren't they suing the alcohol companies? Because alcohol, I mean, I lost a brother to alcohol. I never had a drink in my life because of the fact that I had a brother that had a problem with alcohol. Hey, Trump, you know, there was this thing in 1919 called the Volstead Act. Mm-hmm. It was exactly 90 years before when you made this retarded statement, and they banned alcohol. You know what it bred, Trump? It bred your friends in the mob, because you have mob connections. Mm-hmm. And they were able to kill people. And you know what? All the gun laws that existed at that time, well, they ignored them. So, Trump, either you're serious about this or you're a liar. I happen to think you're probably a liar.
Well, look, let's see. You know what? Let's come down on the automobiles again, because, you know, I have family members who have been in automobile accidents, so I don't think that automobiles should, you know, be available. Oh, and by the way, Trump, guess what? With alcohol, the same rhetoric that you want to attach tobacco to alcohol, guess what? The repealing of prohibition applies to both. Mm-hmm. Oh, and we have this little thing called the Commerce Clause in the Constitution, which happens to be the supreme law of the land.
You know, Article 6, Section 2, yeah. Or Clause 2,
yeah. Again, going back, when has Trump ever defended the Constitution? He's used it quite a bit. He's used it as statements. He's used it as fluffery. Why? He's used it as, not because he understands it, because, again, you know, it's only written in 5th grade syntax. Now, I'll give credit where credit's due. Trump is a great businessman. He knows how to run a business. Guess what?
So did Adolf Hitler. He ran a business. It was called Nazi Germany.
Yes. After he took over Volkswagen and, you know, so on.
Actually, he created Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I have to hand that to Hitler. He actually created Volkswagen. Mm-hmm. He made Dr. Ferdinand Porsche, and if that name sounds familiar, that's because it's the Porsche sports car. He made him create this, and that's why Porsche and Volkswagen shared parts for years. Mm-hmm. And so let me go back to this interview between King and Trump. King said, and this is with respect to alcohol companies, King says, but they are taxed. They're taxed. Trump said, no, they're taxed. I'd like to see them sued. You know, I hope a lot of lawyers are watching tonight, as if Trump could speak to lawyers. As a licensed attorney, listen, Trump, I'm going to reiterate what Cruz said during the debate. I'm not going to take legal advice from you. Because, you know, you are a businessman that declared bankruptcy 4 times in a row in violation of bankruptcy law. You ought to be in jail as a felon. But, anyway, he said, you know, I hope a lot of lawyers are watching tonight. Why is it that everybody is suing tobacco companies and nobody sues the alcohol companies? I mean, you have the car crashes. There you are, Jeremy. There's your cars. And the kids that get killed by some drunk that's, you know, riding on the road. It's just terrible. No, Trump, they aren't riding on the road. They're driving. Maybe that's your New York values. New Yorkers don't drive much. But, I mean, you have the car crashes and the kids that get killed by some drunk that's, you know, riding on the road. It's just terrible. So I would like to see something happen with alcohol. King. And how about tobacco? Tough. Would you be tough on them? Trump. I would be very tough. I think tobacco's terrible. I mean, I have friends that are smart and tough and they can't stop. It's a terrible drug. It's a terrible drug. King. It's a drug? Trump. Oh, absolutely. Really? It's a drug? Really?
I guess, I don't know, parsley's a drug.
Yeah.
Basil, rosemary.
Caffeine.
Those are all drugs. Tobacco is a natural plant. Now, people are going to say, "Oh, look, we knew it. He supports legalization of marijuana." Wrong. Wrong.
I had a friend, my best friend, to steal a line from Trump. Somebody who was as close to me as a brother, who used marijuana as a gateway to get to the rest of the stuff. And the night he got into college, the night he learned he got into college, he mixed Xanax, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, and some other muscle relaxant, and he died. And guess what? That was my 19th birthday. Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Marijuana, and we'll just touch on this briefly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that grow in nature that people should have common sense enough to stay away from.
Hey, how about magic mushrooms? The ones that can kill you? Yeah.
How about molten lava?
Hey, how about black mold?
Let's legalize molten lava. Let's legalize black mold. Let's legalize every single thing in nature that can, be detrimental to your health or the health and safety of other individuals. See, Trump doesn't understand. With these drunk drivers riding on the roads and killing all these kids and this and that. Guess what, Trump? Guess what? Back in 99, early 2000s.
Around the time he was doing this interview.
from a period of 1999 to 2005, I'll even stretch it to 2007, there have been over 20 kids that I knew personally that my younger brothers went to school with, played baseball with. These kids stayed over at our house, slept over at our house, because on the weekends we go to baseball tournaments for the All-Star games and this and that through Little League. Over 20 of those kids all died.
Yeah.
They weren't killed by drunk drivers, drunk drivers on the road, or high drivers. They were killed because they made the choice to drink and drive.
Yeah.
They made the choice. The alcohol companies didn't make the choice for them. That's like saying, well, let's sue all the gun manufacturers.
Which is what the Democrats want to do.
Exactly. Which, by the way, cannot happen because Congress had this little thing called Findings and Purposes, Title 15, Section 7901, where they point out that manufacturers of firearms and ammunition cannot be sued for the negligent acts and choices of individuals using said firearms.
Absolutely.
Meaning that if a criminal, an illegal alien, or a drunken, stupefied hairpiece gets a hold of an illegal firearm and goes out and kills somebody, which happens every single day, numerous times a day.
Hey, I know that Trump's hairpiece kills my brain cells every time I have to see it on the television.
The thing is, his whole argument, all those statements are absolute lunacy. They're not based on any kind of well-educated logic.
No,
it's all biased and emotional. But it's okay. We have to get in touch with our emotions. Wrong answer. Guess what? That's political correctness.
But wait! I thought Trump was against political correctness.
Well, he is now, but back then he wasn't. So again, was he lying then or lying now?
Well, let's go back to King and see. King says, how about allowing the Food and Drug Administration to control it being alcohol, which the Supreme Court is going to listen to? Would you list it as a drug? Trump, it wouldn't, well, it should be listed as a drug, obviously. I mean, when I have friends that are the toughest, smartest people you'll ever meet, and they can't stop drinking, they start shaking. If you tell them they can't have a drink, and I've had them in the house. I said, do me a favor, don't drink in my house. And you see these tough guys start to shake like babies. I've never seen anything like it. So it's a terrible drug. And it ultimately destroys your heart and liver and destroys your insides. And there's no question about it. It's inconceivable why people start drinking, but they do. How is your health? King asks. Well, I think my health is very good. And as far as that, I've never had a cigarette or booze. I've had a glass of wine maybe once or twice. Oh, wait, I thought he just said he didn't drink.
Right, he said he never had a drink.
Yeah.
So he lied twice. Well, in that very short interview, was he lying when he said he didn't have a drink, or was he lying when he said he had a glass of wine?
Don't know. I've never had a cup of coffee. Coffee's not the greatest thing in the world, but King, do all candidates owe us their medical reports? Trump, I think so. I think you don't want to get into a situation where you elect someone and then you find he's terminally ill and they'll be in office for about 3 more months. I think that, King, it might have happened with Senator Songas. Trump, well, that could have happened with Senator Songas, and if you look at what happened, I would have, it would have been very tragic, and he was a good man. By the way, he was a Democrat, very socialist. King, a great man. Trump, but he was very sick guy, and he kept running, and it was very brave, and he got a lot of votes where people said, boy, that's great, and isn't he incredible, and I'm gonna go vote for him. But the fact is, I would have been, King. All right, does George W. Bush owe us to tell us I never used drugs ever, or I did it one time, or what is your read on all of this? Trump, I don't know. I like him, but I don't like his answer. I hated the answer on 7 years. I haven't had drugs in 7 years. I mean, give me a break. I think he probably owes it. I think he owes even the alcoholism, because alcohol is terrible.
Hey, Trump, here's an idea. Drugs are bad. Okay, they're bad. But you don't do drugs, you don't drink, but you have an occasional glass of wine, but you don't drink, you don't do drugs. Hey, Trump, have you ever gone to a medical facility or a clinician's office and have an infection or anything like that, to where you were prescribed medication?
Sick?
Hey, guess what, Trump? Guess what? Hair Club for Men is a drug. It's a gateway drug. It absolutely is. Toupees or us. We're going to have Hair Pieces Anonymous, okay? Send you there, give you carte blanche, whatever kind of, bottled water, but guess what? Bottled water that, is bottled and it's sitting there, and it's a drug too, because, it sits in that plastic bottle, the sunlight and hits it, if it's not kept dark, there's PCBs that leak out of the plastic, and guess what, Trump? Guess what? You and your Hair Club for Men and Rogaine-onomics, guess what?
It don't work.
Shut up! Just shut up!
Well, so then King says, but he's, meaning Bush, discussed that, hasn't he? Trump, well, alcohol is something that does recur. It can recur under stress and under pressure, and I guess probably the American people are really going to, perhaps they'll learn. Okay, there we already have him talking down to the American people. Or perhaps they won't. But if he suffered from problems with alcohol, perhaps we should know. King, we don't know if he was an alcoholic, right? He might have had Trump. We don't know, but he had a problem, and perhaps we should know that problem. Okay, Trump, We don't know, but perhaps you had a problem. That's why you declared bankruptcy with your companies that were just alter egos four times in violation of bankruptcy law. Maybe we should know all about that.
Yeah. Or maybe with regards to the medical records of particular candidates, how about we just, I don't know, follow the HIPAA laws that are in place?
Oh, but that don't matter. Trump's above HIPAA. He built a tower.
Yeah. He built a tower. Okay, listen, Donald Trump Punzel. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. We're going to call you Trump Punzel from now on. You climb on up into your coffee tower and you do whatever it is that you do, but do it quietly. Don't make another sound.
Oh, Trump can't be
stop.
quiet.
Of course not. That's why I'm saying this, because I want every single individual that's listening to this show right now, every single one that is listening to this, if you favor Trump in any way, shape, or form, pass this on to him. I want him to hear this. And I want Trump to answer to this. This is a challenge to Trump. Well, you shouldn't challenge Trump. He's a very wealthy and powerful man. No, he's not. He's not powerful.
He may be fiscally wealthy, but intellectually and spiritually, he's a freaking pauper.
That's right. And here's the thing. Guess what? This is what's going to happen. In order to be powerful, you have to have knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. Trump, you do not have the knowledge that I've seen. You have never exhibited in my purview. I've never heard you. I've never seen you type anything up, write anything that supports the United States Constitution.
No, of course not. He doesn't know what the Constitution is. Constitution, does that mean when I sit on the crapper and, have a Twitter moment?
That's constipation.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the difference.
Get a hold of some liquid plumber. You got a hair clog.
Yeah. Then King said, will you be traveling? Will you be a president who's out there? And keep in mind, folks, this is back in 1999. Trump, I think so. I think I'd be very open. And again, I've been sort of growing up with the public. I've been very out there. As a businessman, probably nobody has been more out there than Donald Trump. King. A lot of press conferences, a lot of Trump interrupting. Oh, I don't know. It depends. I mean, sure, you will have your press conferences, and I will be open, and I'd be out there. And I think the country will really have the spirit. I think we would have a great spirit in this country that we haven't had really in a long time. And I think, King, that's one of the things you would campaign on, Trump. I think I'd keep the economy going strong and even stronger. And I'd be able to cut taxes, and other countries would be paying the price. Okay, what does that sound like? We're back to 1999. This is the one area where Trump has not flip-flopped. I'm going to build a wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Well, when Cruz has his way, we're going to build a wall, and Trump's going to pay for it.
Hell yes. Trump auto. I mean, how much has Trump robbed from the people by, committing bankruptcy fraud?
Sure, wasting taxpayers' money, because guess what? Bankruptcy courts are what kind of courts? Oh, that would mean that they're Article 1 courts. They're established under the authority of Congress as per Article 1 of the Constitution.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Therefore, the judges that, preside over those hearings, magistrates, advocates, whatever the case is, they're all paid by the taxpayers. So guess what? You want to make America great again, but yet you're siphoning out of their wallets to cover your expenses or to create another expense so that you could save face and clear your books. Is that what it's all about?
Of course it is.
How about this? How about this? He wants to create jobs. Wasn't it just this past week, Randy, that Trump, at one of his press conferences, was talking down and actually said, you know what, don't pay that guy. Don't pay him. This microphone is horrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. No, it wasn't the microphone, Trump. It was you. It was you. Okay? You remind me of so many individuals, Trump. It's not the technical devices that are being used to convey your message. It's you. Your vocal cords have detached themselves, and we're getting a bad ground.
No, maybe these vocal cords were trying to be heroic and strangle him. But,
who knows?
King says, after a commercial break, okay, everybody who's ever run for office says things like, this is a great country, we're tremendous people, although tonight you said we may have more people who use guns, but no, we're a great people, and the spirit of America, and we hear all that, and everyone says, what can the president do about a country that's, ethereal world spirit? Trump, how do you define leadership? I mean, leadership is a very strange word. Because, some people have it, some people don't, and nobody knows why. I mean, Winston Churchill was an unbelievable leader. Not initially, but that's alright. I'm sure Trump doesn't know history. I mean, Winston Churchill was an unbelievable leader. Why? He was born with a speech impediment. Oh, so he's back to attacking somebody with a disability. Okay. He had all the sorts of problems. He certainly wasn't a handsome man. Oh, gee, Trump, have you looked in the mirror? And yet, he was a great leader. Why was he a great leader? Nobody knows. He was a great leader. King, Vince Lombardi. Trump, I have always been... Vince Lombardi was a great leader. I mean, he was just a great leader. I mean, there are numerous cases. King, so? Trump, I've always been able to lead, and I've always been able to lead. I think you said that the first sentence, Trump. And I've led with spirit. I've just always been able to create spirit. I mean, I built a great wealth by the spirit that I created. What the hell does that even mean, Trump? Why can't you form a coherent sentence?
Maybe because the spirit he's referring to happens to be that of sour mash,
brother.
Sour mash, and that kind of leads to the incoherency of his sentences. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is what I look for in leadership. I mean, I lead by the spirit. Really?
What kind of spirit?
You mean you look for this and then you just kind of, okay, well, that's enough of that sentence. Let's just jump topic and move to something else. Really? Really? How is it that you can actually, I don't know, wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and not want to punch your own lights out?
It's the hairpiece. It's like a brain slug.
Yeah.
It's sitting there.
Just sitting there humming. It reminds me of one of those. What was the guy's name? Played Ernest. Ernest Scared Stupid and all that other stuff.
Oh gosh, what was his name? He's dead now.
Jim Varney.
Yeah,
Jim Varney.
Yeah.
I remember, and this is kind of going back a little bit, but I assure you, folks, this is relevant. I mean, it's right to the point, but, let me go ahead and try and make it, but I don't know, maybe talk to... No, there was a movie that he did, I believe it was called Dr. Otto. Yeah, remember when he had that hand suction to the top of his head, and it would just throb and move. Guess what?
It's like Cousin It for the Addams Family.
Right. Except it was like kind of one
attached.
Of those albino, people that can't, grow hair or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
The people that have no pigment in their skin.
Right. Well, guess what? That's what Trump's hairpiece is. It is that hand. It's the hairy palm that is just stroking his forehead. You see what I'm saying? It prevents the veins from bulging out.
Well,
so listen.
So he has high blood pressure. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Dr. Otto Trump-Punzel. Yeah, that's the ticket. We'll go with that.
So then we go back to what King said. He said, are people who would walk through walls for Donald Trump? Trump, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I have people that are with me that would do that, yes. And I wouldn't want them to ask them to, but they do it for me. Hey, guess what, folks? He's speaking about Trump voters. Ha ha!
Either that or he's trying to hijack Stan Lee's Marvel comic characters that can actually walk through walls.
Yeah, well,
because people can't humanly
but
physically...
But this is more of Trump trying to control them. And
Yeah.
if you look at Trump supporters, they're about, a lot like the Obama bots that we saw back in 2008.
And the Paul bots and,
yeah.
or Cudafarians as we call them.
Yeah.
So, I really, honestly, come on. I mean, how can people not see what's really going on here? Winston Churchill was a good, leader, but he drank a lot.
He was an ugly fat bastard,
He was an ugly
but he
fat
was a good
bastard.
leader.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it reminds me of something that Churchill said, and I think you'll remember the exact quote when he was approached by a woman.
Yeah, he was approached by a woman. She said, "You, sir, are fat." He said, "You, ma'am, are ugly. At least when I wake up in the morning, I'll be sober, but you'll still be ugly."
Correct. Or you're a fat drunk. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He says, at least I'll be sober, and I'll still be fat, but at least I'll be sober. You'll always be ugly. So it's, yeah, that's leadership for you. Yeah. But Churchill, he was no Adolf Hitler who did this. He was a good leader too. Well, historically speaking, and factually speaking, Hitler actually was a good leader in the terms of what he wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
He honestly was. He set out an agenda. He accomplished it. For the most part, up until, he put a 9mm parabellum in his skull, but...
which he would deny his people, and he was a vegan, basically, so that tells you...
He doesn't eat meat. That's that's very disturbing.
Isn't it?
It's really disturbing.
Yeah.
I can't explain that one.
Yeah. And then King said, now, how do you bring that to Omaha and Lansing and to L.A. and to Dallas? Trump, you just have to lead by example. You just, things have to happen that are different. It's just been dead out there. There's been something wrong. Something's missing. And again, Larry, if the economy goes bad, we're all sort of semi-happy now, but we're only semi-happy because the economy has been pretty good. Not great, but it's pretty good. If that economy tubes, you're gonna see the most depressed country that you've ever seen. King, if it's you versus Buchanan for the Reform Party nomination, by the way, that's what Big Ears Ross Perot formed, and Pat is expecting to make some announcement by the end of this month, and you, with an exploratory committee now, with an announcement, if it is you versus him, what would be the primary issues for the Reform Party voter? Trump, well, for one thing, I'm not in love with Adolf Hitler. Okay? That's a pretty big difference right there. I think you could probably run your campaign on that. Oh, much projection there, Mr. Trump?
How does Hitler come into play with that?
Pat Buchanan, I guess he's saying he's a Nazi.
And how would that be? I can't understand that.
Hey, Pat Buchanan is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'll admit that.
Sure, but
Trump ain't either.
No. And again, knowledge is power. His lack of knowledge of history shows exactly how little power he really has. Mm-hmm. And you know what's missing? When he was talking about something missing or whatever it was, and something has to happen, here it is. there's just not enough lies out there, and we need more lies. That's what's missing, and something has to happen for that. So I'm going to tell you what it is. What has to happen is, I don't know, what I mean is, more lies have to be told, and you know what I mean by that. I look at it as, when more lies have to be told.
End this interview real quick.
Jeez.
So then,
follicle frustration.
Yeah. So then King said, "You were saying you didn't like Hitler?" Okay, King, that is kind of a stupid question. But then Trump followed, "I didn't like him, and what I'm saying is that this guy is obviously enamored with him, and it's ridiculous. I mean, what he's saying, Hitler would have never attacked us, Hitler would have gone a different direction, King, Hitler would be an issue, Trump, I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever read, I don't get it, King. It would be an issue. You would bring it up. Trump, well, I think Hitler has to be an issue. Certainly. It's got to be an issue for some people. I mean, I can tell you one thing. He's not going to raise a lot of money from Jewish folks in New York City. Oh. Okay.
So, let's see. You disenfranchise certain voters from one part of the country, and then now a complete ethnicity of individuals.
Well, he was hoping nobody would dig this up.
But you want to make America great again. You want to make it great again. Great by what? Having a bunch of...
Hey, Jeremy, you just gotta shut the F up, man. I built a tower. And I'm brilliant. I mean, just look at my hand.
Which F would that be? The one with William F. Buckley?
Buckley? Yeah, that F.
Yeah. Why don't you go Buckley yourself, Trump? How's that? Yeah. And while you're at it, go Farouk yourself, too.
Oh, he can't think that far ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, what? Well, I mean, what I meant to say was, I don't
really
know.
Like children and rainbow fighting unicorns. They're really kind of cool, but when I take over the military, we'll have rainbow fighting fighter jets. That'd be really bad, man.
Great. A Spec Ops force is comprised completely of NAMBLA. Wonderful.
Yeah, well. So, King then asks, would you debate him? Him being Pat Buchanan. And remember, folks, this is 1999. Trump, yes, I would debate him. I would debate him if it was appropriate. What the? Yeah, of course you'd debate him if you were running. That's what primaries are. That thing you're not very good at in this election cycle. King, what would be a major issue? Hitler is going to be an issue. Trump, I think in his personality. I think he's a very, it's almost gotten to a point where I'm not even too sure he's far right. I think he's beyond far right. And then other issues, he's just all over the place. Oh, you mean like your sentences and your failure to complete them?
He's not far right, but he's beyond far right. How does that work? How does that work? I tell you what, go stand over there. Nope, to the right. Nope, yep, you're not far right enough, but, okay, go a little bit more. Now, you're beyond far right. You go back the other way.
Oh, okay.
Perfect!
Yeah. I don't think he'll get any votes. He's just all over the place. Look, Pat Buchanan will get a certain number of votes just to sort of correct, but that's it. Well, okay, does that sentence make any sense? Let's break it down grammatically. Look, comma, Pat Buchanan will get a certain number of votes, comma, just to sort of correct, comma, but that's it, period. What's the subject? Okay, Pat Buchanan, he's the subject of the sentence. What's the verb? Will get a certain number of votes, okay. What's the direct object? To sort of correct, but that's it, period. I don't know what that sentence means. Do you know what that sentence means?
No, but I'll tell you what. what I'll do is I will dig deep in my box of hidden treasures I have here.
What,
and
crowns?
and find my Crayola fuchsia crayon, because that will
that's
give me the
prettiest of 'em
answer.
all.
Oh, well,
This
You know,
man
Randy-
is the front runner in the Republican Party, folks. That's why we're laughing. This man is the front runner of the Republican Party.
and we're laughing because it is pathetically sad. Pathetically sad that individuals are heralding him as some kind of knight in shining armor, that they want him to save them. But I got some strong and smart friends, and they have to get on the unicorn horseback and ride into town. And this, that. I mean, just to correct. You know what I'm saying?
So Trump continues. He's got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs to what I've already read. So here we go. Now, if the Reform Party wants to nominate somebody that's going to get 5 or 6% of the wacko vote, oh, you mean like Ross Perot? Okay. They can do that, and they'll get 5 or 6%. But they're not going to win the election. Pat Buchanan is not winning the election. I'll tell you what Buchanan will do. Bush will lose the election if Pat Buchanan becomes the Reform Party candidate. Hey, Jeremy, in 2000, who was the Reform Party candidate?
Pat Buchanan?
Uh-huh. And who was the Republican candidate?
George W. Bush?
And who won the frickin' election?
George W. Bush.
Oh, you mean Trump, the infallible, made a bold-faced lie of a prediction? I would have never... Well, actually, I would have. Because he's a moron. You don't file bankruptcy 4 times if you're intelligent.
Well, it's because, look, okay. Just because my brother's running didn't mean diddly squat that den.
Get me a taco.
I like them chimichangas too.
Chimichangas. I'd like chimichangas. Get me a bear, and then maybe I'll rape Trump up his buttocks.
Maybe who knows? But how is it? How in the ever-loving world? Trump, I'm a smart man. I'm smart. I'm smart. I know how to get
character
stuff.
right out of Godfather Part 2. I'm smart.
I'm smart. Yeah.
I'm smart. SMLT. I'm real smart.
That's fine. Go get a mop bucket and clean up all this blood. Yeah, it's just I don't understand.
Well,
and quite frankly, Randy, I don't think I want to understand what's going through the separated syntax of people's minds that have been infiltrated by, dead roots, retracting themselves back into the cavity of a skull.
Hey, you want to hear another great 1999 prediction from Trump?
Al Gore would win?
Bradley Gore, in my opinion, will become the next president because almost all of those votes are going to come from the Republican Party.
Man Bear Pig.
Wrong.
Man Bear Pig.
Yeah.
I'm Al Gore.
Yeah.
Donald
Al
Trump.
Gore.
Yeah, I'm Al Gore. And, it's just global warming is bad.
Yeah.
Global warming's bad. It's
Global
not as bad.
flattening's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have to protect the penguins from exploding because the sea levels are rising, and the sea levels are rising. It's pushing those ice shelves up to the top of the troposphere, and the UV rays are just igniting those penguins, and there's penguin feathers everywhere.
Yeah. Now,
Damn
Trump,
the cartographers.
Yeah, Trump continued. I'll tell you what Buchanan will do. Bush will lose the election and Pat Buchanan becomes the Reform Party candidate. Bradley Gore, in my opinion, will become the next president because all those votes are going for the Republican Party, blah, blah, blah. Now, the people would vote for Buchanan. Probably the second choice will be Bush. So all they're doing is losing a vote for Bush, and they'll probably lose the election. How many terms of office did Bush hold? Now, I don't like Bush all that much. I especially didn't like it when he was here in my neck of the woods, flying those damn fighter jets low and loud over my house. But, I think he held 2 terms, didn't he?
Well, let's see here. You take the 2 terms. You take the 2 terms. Okay.
And you divide them by, Governor Krispy Kreme's weight.
Let's see. You got the 2 terms. You divide it by the number of years in the terms, which is 4.
And the number of
plus
pounds
4.
in Krispy Kreme's belly.
Right. Yeah. Hamburger. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 terms. 2 terms.
Yeah.
And
and he was the first Republican to hold that since Reagan, some 20 years before.
Yes. Now, again, just like Randy, I voted for Bush both times.
It's
first
so
time,
sad, isn't it?
It is. It really is. This is one of the burdens that I carry on my back, and I will do so until I'm buried with it.
Oh, of course.
But at the same time, I didn't want Al Gore to be in there. Now, I know people will say, oh, you're always speaking about the lesser 2 evils. Well, guess what? When George W. Bush was elected, I was 20 years old. 20.
I was 18.
20.
Let's see.
It was the first presidential
president
election.
I ever voted for.
Same here.
The 2004 one. You were younger, older. So you had it the first shot at it.
Yes.
But 2004 was the first presidential election I ever voted in, and I voted for George W. Bush. It was the biggest mistake of my young life.
And we're human. We make mistakes. Occasionally we too file, paperwork with the wrong agency and so on and so forth. But because we're human.
Yeah.
We don't make mistakes like filing paperwork to rip people off 4 times in 11 years. But,
maybe using eminent domain with our liberal activist sister to take
Sure.
land from innocent landowners. But, it's okay. I'm Donald J. Trump. I know what I'm doing.
But see, when I voted for Bush, again, I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
My first presidential election. I grew up,
Under Clinton.
under Clinton, for the most part.
So did I.
And I can remember, and I will never forget this, and I understood why my dad did this. He took our American flag
And flew it upside down.
flew it upside down on our front porch. The second Clinton was sworn into office, he went out there and did it, and he caught hell from the community over at the police department, this and that. And you know what? There was nothing anybody can do. Nothing. You know why? Because my dad, God bless him, made the choice to go and serve his country. Now, here's the thing. People have a problem with our military veterans. You know what? If you have a problem with the military veterans, you have a problem with me. Period.
We have a problem with both of us.
Yes. And it's a very big problem, and it's a problem that will never go away. Ever.
Yeah.
So, when I say I voted for him, you have to understand what I grew up under with Clinton in the White House. Okay? I was just coming into my own, just starting to get into politics. This and that. I never cared about it prior to the age of 12. When I started to latch onto it and started to think about things, I grew up in a Republican home. It wasn't just until recently, over the past probably year and a half, 2 years, that my dad himself even said, you know what, I'm pretty much done with the Republican Party. Why? Because they're feckless.
Yeah, same thing with here. Same thing with here.
And Trump is feckless.
Oh, he's more than that. He's worthless. It's like with you know, in Texas we had Bush as a governor. Mm-hmm. He was an improvement over Ann Richards, who came from my hometown, that worthless C word.
Cat?
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm sure that's what that means. But anyway, yes, she was that. And so Bush was an improvement over that. Then we got Rick Perry. Hi, I'm Rick Perry. I know what's good for the state of Texas. And let me tell you, I forgot. I'm going to go now. Bye.
Yeah.
That's Rick Perry. He ran twice. He was pathetic. But that's what we had to deal with. That was your detente wing of the gutless opposition party. And folks, the reason I call the gutless opposition party, you want to know when I really started to have problems with the Republican Party? Think back to, I don't know, Bob Dole. I got a pencil in my left hand and I stand there, look at you like a retard, and think I know what's good for the country. God. Well, so we go back to this interview. King says, okay, for Trump to win against Bush and Gore or Bush and Bradley or McCain, isn't that name familiar? 2008. In this mix, he has to do what? Trump. Well, look, again, you're starting off with a base that's really been there for a very short period of time, okay? What do you mean? Well, you know, the right wing, it's kind of sort of the extreme right wingers have taken over the Republican Party. What?
Huh? When? What was Dr. Ben Carson talking when this happened? Hamburger!
Yeah, no. Look, you're starting off with a base that's really been there for a very short period of time, okay? King, you being down? Trump, you're not starting off from, I just got the Democratic or Republican nomination, King. But Perot led in the polls. Trump, he was doing very well in the polls. I mean, he had not dropped out. King, he might have won. Trump, and then announced particularly a couple of days later on your show, might I add. It's very interesting because I was watching that show, and I like him, and I'm watching the show, and I'm saying, I don't believe it. I think he wants to get back into the race. This was after he had dropped out 2 days before. Thank you for that brilliant analysis, Trump. Thank you. I have been so enlightened.
This whole... What base is he talking about that hasn't been there? Is he talking about the
Conservatives?
The conservative base? Because I thought he was talking about the Republican base. See, this is the problem that I have with him. You can't distinguish or decipher what's going on.
What the hell he's talking about.
You have to go and buy a crap load of Ovaltine just to get the decoder ring to find out that he says, drink your Ovaltine. What? But what he means is, it's what I mean, and, look, what I mean is what I mean.
There's this box. You see it has 4 corners. And, I don't know how to describe it. It got 4 corners, and you can look at it and maybe equidistant from each side. And it's a box. You mean a square? Yeah, a square thing. It's this box, and then he repeats himself. Oh, thanks. Gosh. This is the front runner of the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen. That is your front runner.
I'm willing to bet that I would have a much more fun time eating some tainted Cantonese from 7 years ago.
I'd rather have Bluebell ice cream with listeria And I love Bluebell ice cream because it comes from Brennan, Texas. It's fantastic when it's not bad.
I could top that. I'll go out to my kitchen sink and get me a nice fresh glass of Flint water. You cannot top that.
Hey, you could make a mixed drink out of that. We'll give some wisteria-infected Bluebell, and we'll put it into some Flint water, and maybe we'll even add Marlin water on top of that so that you get a double dose.
Yeah. Bring on the Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
So then...
I'm tough, I'm smart, I could handle it.
Yeah. King says, yes, I remember that night, Trump. And you know, I'm pretty good at seeing what people want.
Kind of like you're good at seeing who's going to be elected.
Yeah. King said, voters, I mean, you've got Republican-based and Democratic-based Trump. I think what I get is I get the working base. I get the middle-class base. For some reason, those are the people that really like Donald Trump. Oh, good. He's
the proletariat potentates.
Yeah. I love this. He's referring to himself in the third person. And I think I do well. And I think I got a lot of votes. But if I thought I was going to get the reform nomination and then get 21 or 22% of the votes, I'm not interested, Larry. What's his percentage now? 33% tops?
Yeah. Going down.
He's right near his threshold there. King.
Well, we have to adjust it because of inflation.
Oh, sure. What? The people got that fat? Yeah, right. I'll take that.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. You don't drink alcohol or eat lots of. Okay. King said, you said that even though that would be the largest ever, 19, Trump, I'm just not interested. It wouldn't matter. And you know what happens? The next day I'm back at my office. Hey, isn't that kind of like the answer he gave to Cruz when Cruz said you'd be my vice president?
Yeah.
King says, we'll be back with our remaining moments with Donald Trump and going to read a very interesting letter Donald got. Boy, I can't wait. What does it say? C-spot run. Run, Spot. Run.
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
And they diddled each other on the way down.
Yeah.
I'm Donald J. Trump. I got a hairpiece. So then King comes back. We're back. What our remaining moments with Donald Trump on the rather historic night, the announcement of a presidential exploratory committee. This letter you got from JFK, September 19th through August 19th, July 19th, 99. Your father passed away when in July? Right, JFK Jr. Oh, you mean the failed pilot? Okay, please continue. That's exactly correct. It must have been one of the last things he did. Because didn't he die in 99? Yeah, that's right, he did. He was a great guy. He was a friend of mine.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
Of course he was. The Kennedys obviously were into bootlegging.
Of course. King then says, reading the letter, Dear Donald, I read over the weekend of your father's passing, and I just wanted to drop you a note. No matter where you are in life, losing a parent changes you. I know you had an active relationship, and I hope you'll get an ample time to reflect. He sounds like a fascinating man from what I've read in the Times. I like that he would go over his various work sites and pick up stray nails and returned them, and clearly he never lost his perspective. My condolences to you and your family. Sincerely, John Kennedy, the failed pilot.
What?
Yeah. Then Trump says, this was a great tragedy that he died. Oh, okay. because he had so much going. He was a fabulous guy. I mean, he really, truly, a handsome, wonderful, great, bright guy.
That's nice.
Who would say their father was handsome? I think that's a little disturbing.
Very disturbing.
Is that line correct? No matter where you are in life, losing a parent changes you. Trump. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. My father was special. What, special needs? Okay.
I inherited it from him.
Yeah.
They're gonna stop running again. I mean, you know, Jack and Jill.
I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. I mean, holy crap. King, did losing your father change you? Trump. Well, he taught me so much, like how to be a sleazebag and how to lie to people. He was just a special guy, you know, he bust people in the kneecap when they wouldn't pay his loans on time. Oh wait, no, that's my friends, I'm sorry, I got confused. He was a firm guy, but just a special needs guy, a special guy.
I think George Spot's running again.
Which way did he go?
Which way did he go? I'm going to catch him and hug him and squeeze him, and I'm going to call him George.
Yeah, thanks. George W., the one that beat him? Oh, okay.
He's a special guy, you know, him and his tacos and chimichangas. I mean, you know, El Paso hot sauce. Come on.
He built homes where I grew up, King said. That's where he started, Trump. He built homes in Brooklyn. He started in Brooklyn. He was so happy. Okay.
I built homes in my living room out of Legos.
You're special.
I am, and I don't ever remember, you know, being enthralled.
I built them out of Lincoln logs.
Yeah. I don't ever remember, you know, having, you know,
Tinker Toys.
A special enthusiastic happiness about me because I built homes.
I built Tinker Toys. Does that count? No.
No. But
King's,
I mean, you know.
Yeah. King said, what would he think of this presidential possibility? Well, he was really my biggest fan. Well, that's pathetic. I mean, he was everybody. There was nobody that was a fan of, you know. A lot of parents are jealous. Again with the not completing sentences.
Yeah.
If the son goes out and does something better than the father, King interjected. More, I've seen it. I see it oftentimes where they go have fights because the sons and the fathers and the sons, period. Okay, that's a great sentence. My father was my biggest fan. Oh, you didn't say that already, did you, Trump? And everything I wanted to do, he just loved it. He was terrific. He never went into Manhattan. Oh, so he didn't have New York values? Okay. He never wanted to go into Manhattan real estate because to him, the land was too expensive. No, really? Okay. You know, in Brooklyn, you buy it for $1 a foot. Since when? Oh, yeah, 1850. And in Manhattan, you pay $10,000 a foot. Why?
I know why. I know why. Because his sister was not a federal judge at that time. An eminent domain.
Her?
Oh.
Was that Billy Bob Clinton?
I only, you
guys, you can't make fun of me. I was, with hookers in the back of the El Camino with astroturf that grows. I invented that. You guys can't laugh at me. Stop doing that.
I mean, when I appointed her, I mean, it depends on what your definition of a point is.
I had a point in my pants, but you don't want to know about that. Yeah. So, but
I mean,
he was really proud when I did these big jobs in Manhattan. They worked out so incredibly well. He was just proud of me, so he would have been king. He would have liked this. Trump, the first one that would have said, boy, this is great. Boy, how long did it take him to answer 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs?
Yeah.
Goody, goody. King said, thus far, Perot has stayed out of it. We know how that one turned out, don't we? Mm-hmm. If you were the nominee of the party, if you were running with a nominee, would you expect both Perot and Ventura? Oh, you mean Jesse Ventura, who went after Chris Kyle's wife? Taya or whatever her name was?
Taya Kyle?
Taya?
Yeah.
Kyle? Yeah. To support you? Trump, well, I'd like that. I mean, I respect them both. Well, I don't respect Jesse. Jesse is a spectacular guy. No, he isn't. And, as I said, Ross Perot has really left a great legacy in having created a third party, and a very viable third party. Yeah, which has won how many elections? Oh, yeah, that's right, 0. It's as effective as the Bull Moose Party by the father of progressivism, Teddy Roosevelt. And guess who didn't support Teddy in that run?
His son Archibald.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I have a question here that I think needs to be answered, but going way back to the whole tobacco industry thing. My name is Jesse Ventura, and Donald Trump is my biggest fan. And I'm going to tell you right now, right here, right now.
Didn't you wrestle your brother or something?
I don't remember. There was a pink feather boa involved, something to that nature. I don't really know, but I'm going to tell you right here, right now. You know what? I smoked cigars and movies. I've chewed tobacco. It's made me a sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's a great thing. You know, remember Predator? I had a mouth full of chew. I don't really remember it either because I was, at that time.
How does it feel to know that Governor Schwarzenegger was more famous than you?
That was actually an accident.
I was looking for the attractive looking.
Maria!
I was happy with the housekeeper.
Maria!
Don't ask me. 9mm pound bellum. Don't ask me questions. Okay.
But the question I have, how could Trump sit there and say at the beginning of the interview, I'll go after tobacco companies, drop the hammer on them, but yet Jesse Ventura is a great guy. Yeah, who happens to be a habitual cigar smoker and chewer of tobacco, which, by the way, I think he may have stopped or quit, whatever. It doesn't matter. Why?
Was that after or before he was out of who knows? He's a loser.
Whenever it was that, when they peeled the tinfoil hat off the top of my head and it removed all the follicles.
Including my skull.
And what happened? I'm telling you right now. They took my hair and they put it on Donald Trump's head. That's what happened. It's a transfer of ownership of sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex power.
I don't want to know about that power.
Yeah, me neither.
This committee was going to look into a lot of things. You seem primed. You seem ready. It's going to be this momentous for you. I mean, seemingly out of nowhere, despite the jokes. You mean like Trump? I mean, we're not kidding here. Trump, well, it's a future, King said. The polls have come out so incredibly well, and again, that's why it happened. King, but we had a bad one today, though. Trump, they had a little bit of a bad one in Newsweek, but they put me on the cover of Newsweek. Wow, he was doing that crap back then. Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? It's the craziest deal. But I mean, the polls, generally speaking, the National Enquirer, that wonderful paper with a great reputation, did a poll that is unbelievable, that says I win, that you beat everybody.
I can see why that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't.
As in not believing it at all?
Yeah. Hey, where have we heard this before? Did he say this shit again in 2004?
I think he did.
I think so. And sorry for the bad language, folks, but I mean, seriously, you can only take so much of this, moron. Now, maybe when I start campaigning, I'll do worse. Yeah, you're doing worse. You know, I'll ride it into the White House. What? What?
You'll ride into the White House? So are you...
What? And it better not be your sister. She's pretty ugly.
And you better not be drinking any more wine while you're riding into the White House. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, folks, you just can't make this stuff up.
I wouldn't put it past him to try and take over the White House as under an eminent domain claim. I wouldn't put it past him at all. I really wouldn't. Next, I'll take on the UN.
The UN?
Really? Well, that would actually, given his bankruptcy record, it might be a good thing. You know, maybe, I don't know.
Well, what? He'd have to get a court to restructure it? That's what would have to happen anyway.
Right.
It's not like he's doing anything special.
Then I dig up, what's his name? John Maynard Keynes' Weekend Fling, Mr. Wolf, and have him restructure.
We go down to, to Taiwanese and we go get those male hookers. Yeah. My hairpiece loves male hookers. Yeah. Well, folks, with that said, it really is time for us to begin our descent. And unlike Donald Trump, I am going to actually send the flight attendant back for one last round of alcohol. As always, folks, I'm Randy Wright, your captain, and I'm joined by my first officer, Jeremy Grapington. We invite you to leave comments, concerns, questions, either here on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page or our Google Plus page. Once again, folks, thank you for flying with us. Please join us the next time we fly you over the friendly airwaves in as much comfort and style as we always do, while also leaving you with an indelible yet pure sense of enlightenment, unlike Trump. So, folks, do take care. We will see you next time. Thank you for flying the Wright Flyer.